So there's an event happening tomorrow, chat, which is the presidential debate. It is the debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. It's going to be pivotal for many people in America. It's going to be the first time that they become aware that Kamala Harris is even running for president, and is going to be the place where they learn the most about Kamala Harris. It is the thing that tends to be watched by the most Americans when it comes to politics outside of like actual election day coverage. And yeah, it's kind of a do or die day. Frankly, it is the day where we finally see the delivery of the promise of prosecutor versus felon. It's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out, to say the least. Now, we have a lot of stuff, we have a lot of ground to cover here. And I figure we'll start with the ad that has been released by the Harris campaign that is going to play prior to the debate. So let's take a look at that.
In 2016, Donald Trump said he would choose only the best people to work in his White House. Now those people have a warning for America. Trump is not fit to be president again. Here's his vice president.
Anyone who puts himself over the Constitution should never be president of the United States. It should come as no surprise that I will not be endorsing Donald Trump this year.
His defense secretary.
Do you think Trump can be trusted with the nation's secrets ever again?
No. I mean, it's just irresponsible action that places our service members at risk, places our nation's security at risk.
His national security advisor.
Donald Trump will cause a lot of damage. The only thing he cares about is Donald Trump.
And the nation's highest ranking military officer.
We don't take an oath to a king or a queen or to a tyrant or a dictator. And we don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator.
Take it from the people who knew him best. Donald Trump is a danger to our troops and our democracy. We can't let him lead our country again.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
I mean, I think that this is I think this is a fairly good ad. Frankly, I think it's going to be pretty successful. It is, I think, going to be most successful on independents and on like maybe moderate Republicans, and I believe is the debate going to be on Fox News? Is it still slated for Fox, or is it on ABC again? I'll figure it out. Anyway, good ad. For what they're going for, I believe. I think for what they're going for, that is a good ad. ABC. Okay, gotcha. And I will say that it does feel like we're really getting some slim pickings when it comes to policy. But frankly, well, Kamala Harris dropped her policy page like today, or yesterday maybe. Cut taxes for middle-class families. Committed to ensuring no one earning less than $400,000 a year will pay more in taxes. And, yeah. Rolling back Trump's tax cuts for the wealthiest Americans, billionaire minimum tax, quadrupling tax on stock buybacks, other reforms to ensure the very wealthy are playing by the same rules as the middle class. You know, this is fine, I guess, but I really wish there's more talk about the working class. You know, the Democrats really are for like this imagined gigantic middle class of American society, and most people in America are working class, you know? Which this does go towards helping right here, making rent more affordable and home ownership more attainable. But like, it'd be really nice for a little bit better here. Like, this is mostly geared towards homeowners. Yeah. Right here, Vice President Harris has put forward a comprehensive plan to build 3 million more rental units and homes that are affordable to the end of to end the national housing supply crisis in her first term. Cut red tape to make sure we build housing faster and penalize firms that hoard available homes to drive up pricing for local home buyers, which and also like make it illegal to price fix with landlords with AI and such. But like, while these are good, it's just like not really enough. I just, it's good. You should allow corporate price fixing. You should ban. Man, I am bumbling my words. Maybe I'm too tired. I'm gonna keep going though. It's good to ban this stuff. It's good to ban price fixing. It is good to expand the supply of homes, but I don't think the supply of homes is going to lower rent costs, frankly. It'd be nice if it did, but I don't see that really happening. I've never been in an area where you've suddenly seen like a increased supply of housing and then the rent has gone down. I've never seen that happen. Maybe it happens in some places. I just haven't seen that, you know? So it feels kind of like a way of saying we're going to help the working class without actually helping the working class. Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, I think most families in America own, but like there's still like 30-40% of Americans who rent. Like it's crazy. Good night, Ashley. Get good sleep. But bringing down drug costs, growing small businesses. There's some in here. There's some aspects in here that are really good, but a lot of it's fairly middle of the road. You know, none of it's really groundbreaking when it comes to, oh man, like it's not like she's announcing like the New Deal 2.0, you know? Which she was never going to do, and really no one expected her to do that, but it is kind of becoming more of a problem for her as we get closer to the full campaign season being in effect. You know, a lot of people are saying, oh, well, we know who Kamala Harris is. We know she's replaced Biden, but what is she going to do to change things? Like, how is she going to be different from Biden? Because, you know, we want things to get better. We don't want things to like just kind of slowly get better. We want things to change and improve meaningfully in a way we can see. And that's not something she's really done a good job of painting for the general public outside of, you know, politically brain poisoned folks like us. And frankly, Fox News still doesn't really know how to attack her. Here's a segment from Fox where they are Spock's. God, I can't talk today. Where Kamala Harris visited a spice shop, and they just get really weird about it.
So couldn't wait to get out of that hotel there. But it's not just any spice store, you guys, that she stopped at. The vice president stopped at Penzeys Spices in downtown Pittsburgh. What's Penzeys? It's a nationwide chain that's become pretty well known for posting about politics, often attacking the GOP. Take a look at this, okay? Penzeys just recently offered customers a discount to celebrate Trump's indictment. They sent that out in an email, branding the spice Justice, saying re-indicted, and it feels so good. But
like, instead of attacking Kamala Harris, they decided to attack the spice store. Like, do you have any idea? They did like a week of content on Obama's tan suit, okay? They did like a whole media cycle on Obama's tan suit. They've got nothing on Kamala Harris. Like, nothing. It's really incredible. So far, Kamala Harris has managed to keep herself pretty clean, pretty squeaky clean when it comes to her matchup with Trump, right? Like, that's great. However, there's only so far you can get with attacks on Donald Trump. Like, here's a clip from Trump from a recent rally.
And you know, getting them out will be a bloody story. should have never been allowed to come into our country. Nobody checked him. And
he's talking about doing the mass deportation, like the hallmark of his campaign, the largest ethnic cleansing in American history, at least like on a short timeline. Maybe I'll say modern American history. There we go. He's talking about it being bloody, and Hill Soy, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I'm not gonna get. He's talking about this, and he's talking about, and also it's gonna be bloody. You know, we're gonna make them bleed. We're gonna be bled. You know, they're gonna fight us. We'll have to, use the military to enforce these deportations. Like, he's basically talking here about how, hey, we're basically gonna go to war. We're basically gonna have a civil war. And that should be a bigger alarm bell than we're getting, but like everyone just acts like it's normal. He's advocating for an ethnic cleansing, the likes of which no one in modern memory can even comprehend in America. And it is... I don't know. It seems to be just like a tiny blip on the radar. Or like this one, right here. Before, it seemed as if Donald Trump wasn't going to deliver on some of the promises of Project 2025, like dismantling the Department of Education, but...
ultimately, we'll live, and you know what we're doing here. I say it all the time. I'm dying to get back to do this. We will ultimately eliminate the Federal Department of Education and send education back to Wisconsin and back to the states. Ultimately.
Oh, okay. So we are getting rid of the Department of Education. Okay. Yeah. Cool. So these are all things that he should be getting attacked for, right? Do people like this line? Conservatives like it because they just want all kids to be homeschooled or sent to church. Like that's fundamentally it. And they don't want, they view public school as an evil thrust upon them. And the the Kamala campaign is pointing all of these out. Like they posted both of these clips. But we have a problem, and that is attacking Donald Trump is not going to be enough. And putting forward policies that are just like tiny improvements on Obama or Biden era policies, it's not going to be enough. Like, Kamala Harris needs to run on something she can really make her own. And she doesn't really seem to have any of those big ideas yet that would carry a campaign. Something like a Medicare for all. Something that would actually be like, hey, this is what we're bringing you. If you vote for Kamala Harris, you will see a world where no one is denied like access to medical care. Because you will all have coverage. Something like that. Maybe she's waiting for the debate. Maybe. But I want to turn over to this Times Siena poll because I know a lot of people are freaking out about it. It came out, was it yesterday or today? 2 days ago. Okay, people are freaking out about this. But Trump and Harris neck and neck after summer upheaval, Times Siena poll finds. And it shows Donald Trump up by 1 point. And, well, that's scaring a lot of people. It's scaring a lot of people. People look at this and they're like, oh my God, Donald Trump is up by a point. He's got it in the bag. The projections are saying he has a 99% chance of winning. And like, I'm here to tell you guys, this poll is actually good, but the goodness of it is kind of buried quite a bit. Because you can actually take a look here at the breakdown. And, well, it's pretty interesting. But we're going to scroll on down here. Now, I do want to say that it does kind of look like the poll underweights Black or African Americans, as well as Hispanic or Latino folks in America. Looks like it underweights both of these, underrepresents both categories. Just throwing that out there. Not by a whole lot, but by enough where it could skew the results. And I think, though, the absolute biggest point against this particular poll when it comes to the methodology here is right down here. Oh my God. Abortion. I know it's one of the lower. Excellent. Here we go. Second to last question. If Protestant, Christian, Mormon, Greek, Russian Orthodox, or some other religion, do you consider yourself an evangelical or born-again Christian? Like, my God. The weight of this is crazy. We got like 26% here in the likely electorate. But let me take a look. The number I saw earlier was crazy here. Might have been the wrong poll. I'm just gonna open the data from this. There we go. That wasn't the right number. Pew, 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 pew. Yeah. Oh no, same number. All right. But like, let me take a look here. Evangelical. For some reason, I remembered this number as 56%, which was crazy. 26% percentage of U.S. population. Okay, so this is actually extremely unhelpful. Basically, there's a lot of different ways to define what an evangelical is, okay? So depending on how you define evangelical, anywhere from 6 to 35% of the country is evangelical Christian, right? And the average of what is thought to be like the core demographic is around 12%. And what I'm trying to get at here is that if that average is correct, then 26% of respondents considering themselves evangelical or born again would be like a doubling of the demographic, right? And if that is the case, most evangelicals vote conservative, right? So the point I'm trying to make here with this particular number is that I think it weights the poll. I think it weights the poll, and I think that I think that these poll results are skewed. Okay? Now, what I'm trying to say here also is that if that is the case, it is actually very good results. If this is a skewed poll that doubles the representation of evangelicals in the poll in the American population, the poll is showing us that Trump is having a hard time winning over evangelicals. It is, yeah, there are also sampling issues when it comes to like the rural population, the white population, Southern voters. Like, there are issues, though. I'm not sure from what I saw, I wasn't sure if they were oversampling Southern voters, but that's just me. But like the racial polling is off for sure. All I can say is that this is a best case scenario type of poll for Trump, in which like the Black and Hispanic vote are suppressed, in which, you know, like evangelical weight is doubled. It is a best case scenario for him, and he's still only winning by 1%. So when I look at this, what I see is actually good news, because there is no possible way that he is able to get more popular than he is right now. Kamala Harris, as long as she doesn't completely beef it tomorrow night, as long as she is able to put a better spin and like introduce herself well to the American public, is going to only get more popular. And also, one of the things that this poll shows and polled people on was essentially what they're concerned about. And frankly, one of the top issues of concern is that people don't really know what Kamala Harris stands for yet. They don't know what her policy is, and they struggle to differentiate her from Biden. And if she can differentiate herself, if she can plant her flag on like a specific policy goal, she will be able to do much, much better. If she can like clearly communicate to people, I will get you this thing, she will do very, very well. Yeah, I would say that like overall this poll is great news for us. But it's like, I think it's great also because it doesn't allow us to be complacent, because this is still too close. You know, we should be winning by more. Go out there, get volunteering, get yourself helping to register people to vote. Get the ball rolling on this. Now's the time to do it. Get involved. Learn how you can help in the election process, in the Harris campaign. Get going. We need you out there right now, tomorrow. My one younger brother, who's a fundamentalist Christian, said to me that he's sure if he can vote for Trump. I think he's actually seen enough. Oh, he's not sure if he can vote for Trump. Yeah. There is a small but growing movement of evangelicals for Kamala. It's pretty crazy. but also like we can't also pretend we have to acknowledge that like the New York Times has been kind of shit lately when it comes to politics. Like even Salon is out there being like their reporting and polling is consistently wonky in a way that seems untrustworthy. And this entire article here by Lucian K. Truscott IV, what a name, is pretty good at going over a lot of issues with the polling at the NYT. You know, it's weird that there's a lot of weirdness in their polling, and there has been for a while now. But it is it's interesting to say the least. Something to be aware of. I don't think it's necessarily like I don't think I'm not here to tell you polling's fake. Don't trust the polls. But you should look at the methodology of the polls. Like always take a look at that, cuz it's weird. Yeah, Mr. Malachite, if the New York Times poll had Hispanic and Black residents at 10%, they were underestimating each by about 10% going by the census data. Yeah, and Black and Hispanic folks both overwhelmingly vote, both groups overwhelmingly vote Democrat. A dandy goon? Best of luck to you. Should we believe polls are made by the devil? Yes. And also, just like this is what Kamala Harris is up against, man. Like, she needs to like figure out how to communicate, plant her flag, and also like make fun of this asshole. Cease and desist. Cease and desist. Nope, that's not the right. I need to channel it. Folks, cease and desist. I, together with many attorneys and legal scholars, am watching the sanctity of the 2024 presidential election very closely because I know, better than most, the rampant cheating and skullduggery that has taken place by the Democrats in the 2020 presidential election. It was a disgrace to our nation, and therefore, the 2024 election, where votes have just started being cast, will be under the closest professional scrutiny, and when I win, those people that cheated will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, which will include the long-term prison sentences so that the depravity of justice does not happen again. We cannot let our country further devolve into a third world nation, folks, and we won't! Please be aware that this legal exposure extends to lawyers, political operatives, donors, illegal voters, and corrupt election officials. Those involved in unscrupulous behavior will be sought out, caught, and prosecuted at all levels. Unfortunately, never before seen in our country. Like, he's so, like he's lost in the sauce, man. Listen to him.
Can you imagine you're a parent and your son leaves the house and you say, Jimmy, I love you so much. Go have a good day in school. And your son comes back with a brutal operation. Can you even imagine this? What the hell is wrong with our country?
Yeah, he's saying that you can send your kid to school and they'll just do bottom surgery on your kid at school. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Guys, do you have any idea how hard it is to get bottom surgery? You have to get like multiple doctors. You have to get multiple doctors to sign off on it. You have to get like multiple psychologists. You've got to recover for like weeks and months. Like it's expensive. It takes a long time. It's one of the most complicated surgeries we've developed to date. And he thinks we're just giving it away for free to children? Is this the new, like, there are razors in the Halloween candy conspiracy? There are trans surgeries in the schools? Life is like a public school. Never know when you're gonna get the trans surgery. It's too dumb to even make fun of. It's just dumb. God. And then meanwhile, like, remember how he was like talking about how for a bit like Republicans were like, the left wants political violence. Remember that? It was like a recent arc. Look at this.
Force anarchy on the American people while they live in safety, in many cases behind walls. You know that? Nancy Pelosi has a big wall wrapped around her house. Of course, it didn't help too much with the problem she had, did it? But she had a big wall wrapped around her house. But then she says, we don't want to, you have no idea what it was, force anarchy.
So, can we just take a moment? Like, we all know Trump is full of shit when it comes to like saying that, oh, I'm not violent. I don't believe in violence. Like, he clearly believes in violence. He tells people to beat the shit out of other folks at his rallies. Like, he's in this clip, he's talking about the attempted assassination on Nancy Pelosi when a crazy guy showed up at her house with a hammer to bash her skull in, and instead found her husband, who he then had a struggle with when, like, the police came. Like, but then he also throws in the fact that Nancy Pelosi's house has a wall around it, and the wall didn't work, which undermines his entire point about how we should have a wall along the southern border. Like, you went to try and make fun of Nancy Pelosi's attempted assassination, but in the process of doing so, you undermined your wall narrative. Your entire wall narrative, the entire thing, you fucked it. You fucked it all over like it was a couch in J.D. Vance's house. And you were J.D. Vance. God. Well, no, Nancy Pelosi probably actually has a wall around her house. She's rich enough to probably have that for real. Over under, what are the chances Trump calls Kamala a slur during the debate? I have to be honest with you. There's a decent chance.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
Keldoge, thank you very much for subscribing, and you know it.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
It's true. It's true. It's true. And folks, like, Donald Trump isn't doing okay. Like, I think that there's a decent 50-50 chance he drops a slur. And not even necessarily on purpose. You know, like, this is an actual story from yesterday. This is a real story. His own niece, who is a trained and licensed psychologist, believes that he is undergoing the process of falling into dementia. Like, this is from The Independent. This is like an actual journalist. I'm not pulling this out of, like, you know, actual nowhere. This is a real outlet. Crazy enough. Mary Trump, the niece of Donald Trump, has shared her analysis for the former president's mental health, and says it's deteriorating after he struggled to answer a question on childcare. Do we have the clip? Because that would be that'd be pretty great. Is it this one? Damn it, no. I did everything right and they indicted me. I don't have that clip. Wait, maybe I do? Maybe I have the clip? Do I have the clip? Yes, I do have the clip. Thanks, past me.
Also about...
Damn it, that's not the clip. I have the full speech. Damn it. How long is this speech? Maybe we can go through it quick. Thank you, C-SPAN, for highlighting when it happens. That's actually great. Good job. Also, Simric, thank you for the $2 super chat. Oh my god. C-SPAN, you are here for the good of the public. You should not be running ads.
For President Donald Trump.
But the real cost that's breaking families' backs and preventing women from participating in the workforce is childcare. Childcare is now more expensive than rent for working families and is costing the economy more than $122 billion a year, making it one of the most urgent economic issues that is facing our country. In fact, the cost of childcare is outpacing the cost of inflation, with the majority of American families of young children spending more than 20% of their income on childcare. One thing that Democrats and Republicans have in common is that both parties talk a lot about what they're going to do to address the childcare crisis, but neither party has delivered meaningful change. If you win in November, can you commit to prioritizing legislation to make childcare affordable? And if so, what specific piece of legislation will you advance?
Well, I would do that, and we're sitting down. You know, I was we had Senator Marco Rubio, and my daughter Ivanka was so impactful on that issue. It's a very important issue. But I think when you talk about the kind of numbers that I'm talking about, that, because look, childcare is childcare. There's something, you have to have it. In this country, you have to have it. But when you talk about those numbers compared to the kind of numbers that I'm talking about by taxing foreign nations at levels that they're not used to, but they'll get used to it very quickly. And it's not going to stop them from doing business with us, but they'll have a very substantial tax when they send product into our country. Those numbers are so much bigger than any numbers that we're talking about, including childcare, that it's going to take care. We're going to have, I look forward to having no deficits within a fairly short period of time, coupled with the reductions that I told you about on waste and fraud and all of the other things that are going on in our country, because I have to stay with childcare. I want to stay with childcare, but those numbers are small relative to the kind of economic numbers that I'm talking about,
garbage.
Including growth.
Pure,
growth also
undiluted garbage, meaningless, drivel, nonsense. That's all they were.
Trillions of dollars.
Junk.
And
when I thought this is what these kids in this preschool are seeing,
it's relatively speaking not very expensive compared to the kind of numbers we'll be taking in. We're going to make this into an incredible country that can afford to take care of its people, and then we'll worry about the rest of the world. Let's help other people. But we're going to take care of our country first. This is about America first. It's about make
Holy
America
shit,
great
dog.
again. We have to do it because right now we're a failing nation. So we'll take care of it. Thank you. Very good question.
Oh my god, dude.
I'm living in a make-believe world.
That wasn't even, you can't even argue that was stream of consciousness, because that would imply that that demonstrated any level of consciousness. Like, that was actually like 2 minutes of nonsense. None of that made any sense whatsoever. Like, at all. Like, when... Now I hadn't actually watched that. I had heard about it. But now having seen that, I understand his niece's comments even more. Like, this does seem like sundowning. Yeah, he's not doing okay. I think at the very least we can all kind of agree on that, right? He's not doing okay.